Bad Brad coming at you live Saturday night, Backstage with Bad Brad, episode 33, baby. It's 33. And how about the dude with styling tonight? Yes, indeed. Yes, I'm feeling good. Oh, here we go. We got Rhonda in here. We got Eric. We got Paul, our moderator. We got Leah in here. We've got already a good crew. Everybody's got the thumbs up. We're getting the party started right, and we're here to have a good time. We got Dave here with his wrench. And John Billings, dude. John Billings is here, dude. John Billings, bro. It's John Billings, bro. This is going to be the whole episode is me going, John Billings, dude. This is the whole episode. John Billings, dude. Dude, John Billings. It's John Billings, bro. So if anybody knows, John Billings was my first roommate out in California, but he's a fellow Virginian, right? And John Billings, bro. John Billings, dude. So he is here. He's dropped in on one of these live events. And yeah, man, glad to have you here. Clever is asking any OSU football fans. Well, that's not normally the kind of questions that you ask here on Backstage with Bad Brad, number 33. That's not the normal kind of questions that you would normally ask. But I don't know. Do we have any OSU fans? Steve, what's happening? Dave Strong, glad to have you here. And Paul are the moderators currently. And hey, dude, we're getting it. Look, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. Now, I will say this. Are you going to watch Ozzy's final show? When is that? Is that tomorrow? When is that? I plan on watching Ozzy's final stuff when it hits YouTube. I'm not going to pay to go to see that. If that's what it is what it is. Oh, 6th of July. Okay. So yeah, I'll watch whatever ends up on YouTube. That's what I'm gonna watch. Let's see. Clever is this. Watch my little cousin defense end. Caden Curry is a senior headed to NFL. Very cool, man. Very cool. Ozzy's final show. Ozzy's been a mainstay for so long. He has. And but I don't look. I will watch whatever makes it to YouTube, but I'm not paying any money for that. And I hope everybody has an amazing show, and I hope it is a proper send off. And I'm sure with the deck stacked like they've got it, and all the talent that's going to be there, it's going to be an incredible performance. But, we know that, right? And we know this. SM, thank you so much. $4.99, getting it rolling here. Getting it rolling on a Saturday night. You're rocking and rolling, dude. It's like the tip bucket, except I don't have to play Sweet Home Alabama or Free Bird, right? And I thank you so much, sir, for throwing in the bucket and getting the party started right, because that's what we're here, man. That's why we're here. Let's see. I've not had a good night's sleep in over 30 years. FMP. Come on, bro. Brown-eyed girl, John Billings is. Look, if I was still in Nashville, it's Saturday night. That's exactly what I would probably be playing right now. I'd be going blue doo beep boo doo boo doo boo boo doo boo. I'd be playing it for the 10,000th time, and I would be happy to do it. Right? I wouldn't have a problem playing that. But I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I'm here and get to do this. This is actually easier and more fun. I've got a more longevity doing this. Yeah, bass solo yeah, it does have a bass solo. That's right. Now, I would judge bass players if you don't know how to play the bass solo in Brown Eyed Girl. Do you really bass, bro? Do you really bass if you're not actually know that solo? I played, believe it or not, I played a gig in Nashville with some of my buddies, right? But he hired a bass player, and the bass player did not know how to play Brown Eyed Girl. And I at that point I literally caused me to not want to do the gig anymore. I'm like, if I can't play, if there's somebody in the band and they can't play that song, or they don't know it, or they haven't played enough gigs to be able to play that song, it's almost like I'm out. I'm out, bro. So I think everybody should be able to play that bass. I could probably play that bass solo now, and I don't even play bass, right? I'm scrambling for my bass. Let's see, where is my bass? Here's a bass. Here's Mia's bass. Here is Mia's bass. So let's see, it's in G. Right? I'm playing with my fingers too. Is that? Right? It's something like that, right? Is that it? This is going to be the whole show tonight, is me playing bass. Not going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen. But how do you, hey, John Billings, dude, this is what you need, bro. You need you one of these, I'm trying to remember. I don't think that's the exact solo, but that would at least get me through the changes. Yeah, John Billings is a bass player. He plays for the Monkees currently. So that's what his thing is doing. But man, we're here. It's Saturday night. It's Bad Brad Sheehan, bro. There's P-Funk. I hope Billings, it's close. It's close enough, right? For a guitar player. Boom. I'm trying to remember the bass solo now. Boom, 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 boo, da, boo, boo, da, boo, boo, da. Something like that, right? Somebody asks, who sings Brown Eyed Girl? Every band on a Saturday night. That's who sings it. But Van Morrison is the original. And man, you know what I never learned was the really cool rhythm guitar parts in that song. There's some really killer, if you listen to that, some really cool stuff. So yeah, man, it's a cool tune, close enough, right? Yeah, learn it, Eliezer. Everybody should know how to play that song. Mike, Brad's dad has a message. Uh-oh. Yeah, is my dad here tonight? I haven't seen him. People say we monkeying around, right? They do say we're. Green Eyed Lady is another one. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Something like that. I think that's it. That is a cool tune, man. That is a cool, but I don't want to get demonetized, bro. So I can't play anything perfect. That's my excuse, right? I can't play anything and make it sound like the record, bro. I'll get demonetized. So here we go. We are here. It's Saturday night. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to talk about, yeah, I think John Billings does know that. But here's the deal, man. We need to, once the Pawn Shop LA becomes the sports bar, the crew, we should all go down there and talk and like, hey, it's the old crew showing up, because nobody talks about the guys, the gorillas in the back that were doing the grunt work and dealing with the belligerent customers and stuff like that. So all of us old crew guys should go pay a visit to that pawn shop in LA. Hey, I might even have a damn beer if I'm in there. I might have to have a damn beer if I go in that place. Most of the time when we worked there, it made us want to drink after work. And so that's the funny. Once the sports bars come in, the party has to move to some other rundown district. Yeah, it does change things. I ran into a guy from Tampa who fronts a Bob Seger tribute band. Cool, Chris. Very cool. I have not even heard about a Bob Seger tribute band. Here's the thing. What I did today, playing music in the beginning, Dwayne is asking a question, so that's what we're here for. He's saying, Brad, did your parents support you playing music in the beginning? Yes, I can honestly say they did. With reluctance to some degree, but yes, they did. Brad, that's the only reason I'd go back to LA other than for a Zanku chicken sandwich. I tell you what, P-Funk, it's still pretty good too, the pizza at the Rainbow. And to see the Lemmy statue. That's worth going. I tell you the other thing that's worth going, P-Funk, is every year they have an anniversary party for the Rainbow. And they get a bunch of old geezers up there and they crank out some metal tunes, and right there in that parking, the area where you pull up to the Rainbow and all the cars would be parked and we'd be hanging out after the place closed. That whole area they turn into a concert, and they have a stage and the band plays and everything. That would be cool to go. So yeah, chicken sandwich, the Zanku chicken sandwich. Hit all the old haunts. Here's the thing, man. People liked it when I did what did I do in Nashville? When I went back to Nashville and filmed all that stuff back in Nashville. So I know if I went back out to LA and filmed some of the old haunts and interviewed some people and took people around to the old LA, that would probably do well on this channel. But I've probably got to arrange it. It's going to be a thing I have to be arranged with the family. So hopefully things will hold out. And then things will hold out, and channel will continue to grow, and then we can afford to take the show out to LA. That would be very cool. I need to go back to the Shock House. Yes. That what is Zillow called this quaint charmer, and it was a charmer, bro. Here's the thing. Here's what would be funny. Tobias, thank you so much, brother. Thank you. Let's show John Billings what we do on Saturday nights. Imagine this. Me filming myself going up to the Shock House and knocking on the door and telling the owner, hey, we used to have a rock band that we all lived in this house, and maybe show them some of the pictures. I might even have some pictures or some footage. Could show them the footage from the old Shock House, some of it that's on my channel. If you go, there's a video on my channel, and I believe it's called LA Daze, Daze. And I think P-Funk's in it, and Wild and Free, Sweet Johnny D's in it, and a couple of fine young ladies are in it. And we're all at the Shock House. So yeah, if you want to go back in time and see that, it's LAL period A period Daze, Daze, and it's just a few clips from the Shock House. We could just bang on the door, scream, "It's P-Funk!" Yes. So I can only imagine if going back to the Shock House and knocking on the door and like telling them what went on in their house. If people knew what went on in that house, it would have been marked a complete teardown. Here's the thing. I bet they have the same wood floors in the living room, the same ones that P-Funk was bouncing off the wall and landed on the ground, and people were spilling God knows what all over the floor, and blood and everything else. It's not a parking lot. It's still a house. It's still a house. Yeah. P-Funk. P-Funk says maybe they'll let us burn down the garage for old time's sake. Well, that was the funny thing is being there and the garage burning down and all of Johnny's clothes and P-Funk's amp. Hey, by the way, P-Funk, I just saw the other day somebody had that exact same amp that you had. That it survived the fire. It still worked after it was in the fire, but it was in its road case. I still used that amp on a couple of gigs, but it stunk all to hell. And I guess when you left town, you took the amp and maybe you sold it or something. But dude, I saw one for sale just recently. That same amp with the same cab, $4,550. That amp is worth a lot of a good chunk of change now, P-Funk. Dwayne says, my guitar player works at Guitar Center Cincinnati. John Waite and band came into the store to buy some things, so they need to pay for their own equipment now. Okay. Well, why wouldn't they pay for their own equipment now? Oh, he sold it to the pawn shop, Pacific Pawn. Well, I did the same thing, dude. Anything that I couldn't take on the flight with me, and there was a lot, I just took down to the pawn shop and just said, I got to get rid of this stuff. And just basically whatever they offered me, I took it. And so there was a carven cabinet that I used to use a lot. DJ B, thank you for being here, sir. The stinky amp he sold to the pawn shop, but that stinky amp is worth about $4,500 now. And I'm sure the smoke smell is dissipated and replaced with another smoke smell of some sort. But the burnout amp, dude. That amp is worth money. He spray painted it silver so it wouldn't smell like fire so much. Oh my God, P-Funk. I don't know if that made it worse or not, but it did. It did reek like smoke, man. It did reek, but you know what? That was probably the best sounding amp I ever played through. When I was using P-Funk's amp. After it went through the fire, I think P-Funk was like, okay, yeah, if you want to use this, because it stunk all to high hell, but that thing sounded great, man. It was because here's the deal, it was a Silver Jubilee 2555. And so you could get it at 25 watts, you could crank it up, you could get great overdrive out of it. It had the Silver Jubilee series had it had a LED in the preamp circuit to give it more drive. Great amp, killer fucking amp. Yeah, I wish it hadn't have been burnt. But that is how you get the brown sound. You gotta put the amp through a fire, dude. I've only had some of my gear. Yeah, I wish I had. There's a lot of gear that I wish I still had. I wish both me and P-Funk had that amp. That was probably the best sounding of all the amps that I played through out there. The barbecue amp. Synthetic. How you doing, brother? So the brown sound like in South Park. Yeah, it wasn't quite like that, Cool Cat. A lot of people, Edward Van Halen called his tone the brown sound. So that's what they're referring to. But maybe South Park had something else. Whose idea was it to bring in Psycho into the shock house if you know where that dude is after his departure from the building? Okay, so Shane later confirmed that the guy's name was Rambo. And they probably called him Rambo because he always had a knife on him. He always had like a Rambo knife. And from all I can discern from what went down, because our bass player had been in the big house, he had done time, but it was his family that was running the band, owned the shock house, all of that. My guess is that he had maybe befriended Rambo in jail. And Rambo might have been a good guy to know in jail because he was a dangerous, scary dude. And so they were probably friends in jail. And he shows up he probably got out of jail and said, oh, well, I'll just go see my friend. He's got a band house, down the street. So he shows up at the house, not having a place to stay. He's fresh out of the pen and all that. And so that's why I think he showed up at the house, because it's like, well, we knew Mikey and Johnny were moving into the spare room, but nobody told us that Rambo was also going to be crashing on the couch. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is when you're living in the shock house. 1 minute there's some rando person showing up, and now they're living in the house. It's just the way it is. So yeah, that's the story behind that. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. Buckingham Bard, glad to have you here. And let's see, what else? Was Rambo before, after, or concurrent with Pineapple? Rambo, I believe, Rambo was before Pineapple. Although Pineapple was probably somewhere floating around, because Pineapple all ties together with some dude who randomly messaged me on Facebook and said, hey man, I just want to say that I crashed at the shock house for a while, and you were always very nice to me, and and all this, and you didn't have to be cool to me, but you were very cool, and yada yada yada. Well, I don't even remember this dude staying with us. He might have been, I don't think it was Rambo, because Rambo literally didn't make it a whole night. Rambo only made it to the house for a few hours. And my guess is, and the reason why I think Rambo had basically come to the house, saw that there were two girls living in the house. Now, there were two girls in the center room, and this room had its own bathroom attached, just a little small shower, toilet, sink, right? Bathrooms were a premium in the shock house. Well, these girls agreed to move into the shock house. They may have been a couple. As far as I know, they were a couple, right? And they move in, and they go, oh, we don't want anybody using this bathroom. So they nailed the door shut so that they would have their own private bedroom and their own private bathroom. They could basically come in the shock house and lock themselves in the room, and no one would mess with them, right? But they get in, Rambo shows up and sees two attractive girls in the house, and he's fresh out of the pen, and he's packing a thing, and then that's how the story ends up. So I'm sure, yeah, they crucified the bathroom. But here's what's funny. Eventually, those girls move out, and we said, screw this, and we pried the nails out of the door, and then all of a sudden, now I had a place to go shower that was separate from the other bathroom. The shower was terrible, dude. The water would back up like this. It was awful. Yes, the shock house was in Van Nuys. And I'm sure we've talked about the address. I don't remember the address, but it was, what was the name of the street? Was it Kester? I can't remember, man. I can't remember. Or Halbrant. It was Halbrant. Wasn't it 5556 Halbrant Avenue? Is that, yeah, the health department, dude. So, yeah, that's the deal. There you go. Chris he's got some killer gear, man. So is there any old video of the shock out? Yes. So if you go on my channel and search LA Daze, Daze, there's footage inside the shock house. And I've got more footage inside the shock house. And some of it's been not released yet, if you know what I mean. So maybe I tried to, this was an edit I did a long time ago and posted it up on YouTube before I even started doing this channel. So I don't know, man. If you want to see the Shock House, it's in there, but I think it's 5652 Halbrant Avenue or something like that. You were 2 in 83. Yeah, you were too young to hang out at the Shock House. That's for damn sure. LA Days. Yeah. LA Days. Google that and there's a video. There's all kinds of video in, but it's all before a gig at the Shock House. So you get an idea of the girls hanging around the Shock House. You see all the band guys. You see the dog that lived in the house. All of that. Did you end up doing another Guitar Store demo? Yes, Rob Lucas. It wasn't a demo, but what I did today is I went to a guitar store in Middle Florida, and it ended up being a really cool video. The video is already uploaded on the channel, but I don't think I've released it yet to the members. So I released a new video. I'm kind of lately. Shaka, yes, the old black lab. Yes, Shaka was the name of the dog. If you can imagine, the band was called Shock, and the dog was called Shaka. And big, huge, overweight black lab. What did your vocalists do to keep their voice strong night in and night out? Well, Dwayne, I can tell you what my vocalist in Shock did night in and night out to not keep his voice in shape, because we had debacles. We had a debacle at the Roxy one night with his voice blown out, and yeah, Dave. I don't know if here's the deal. A random blonde showed up the day of the show, disappeared into the room. They didn't come out for hours and hours and hours, and by showtime, the voice was gone. It was completely gone. So we didn't look back in those days, man. Nobody did anything to keep their voice strong. We didn't know any better, and I never. Even as much as I had to sing on the road, I didn't do anything. The only thing I did was sleep with a friggin' cough drop in my mouth so that the throat didn't dry out, because I always found if my throat dries out, then it's gone. It's the same thing if I'm talking on this channel. If I talk for hours and I don't hydrate, Erickson is asking if there's any video of the singer who played one show. I've got a picture or two of that guy, Rick. His name was Rick. There was one singer that we had that played the Roxy, and he literally, his goal in life was to play one show on the Sunset Strip. He told me this. He goes, "Oh, I just want to play one show." And I'm thinking like, well, surely, if the show goes well and we got a good crowd, surely this guy's going to want to do more. But that was his goal in life, was to play one show. And he had a good voice. I will tell you this. Victor Wooten was at that show. And Rick sounded good. But he didn't have the physique to carry it. He was okay. He looked okay. But he was not he literally borrowed a shirt from me for the show. But Rick had a redheaded girlfriend who had girlfriends, and they would come over. He had this girlfriend who liked her boyfriend and liked other girls. And she had a license plate on her car, on her sports car, that said Fire Pie. So do with that information what you will. You guys are pulling me back. You're pulling me back to the Strip, dude. You're Fire Pie, dude. I never got over the fact that he had this girl, and she was a very attractive redhead, and she was very attractive, and I even saw one of these. She had some other girl, some other redhead that it was the three of them together, and Rick was a lucky guy, and he had a good voice, and he could sing. He was more into like Pearl Jam and stuff like that. He was actually playing me the Pearl Jam record and going, this is what's coming out. This is going to be the new thing. Fire Pie. It's hilarious. I'm sure Rick, went down into the come. I'm coming back to the strip, bro. Here's the deal. Here's where all of this could have happened. If we could have gotten everybody from Shock to do that demo that we were working on, me and Roger, by the way, Billings, me and Roger tracked a bunch of our old tunes, and we're trying to get everybody. We begrudgingly got Greg in to track bass, but then once we got the rhythm section flown our tracks back and forth, everybody else just flaked. Everybody else flaked. So now we've got, and we also tracked "Light Up the Sky" by Van Halen. I actually tracked the guitars here. Light up the sky, light up the fire pie, right? So we tracked that. But then we realized, because he's like, well, I've got this light up the sky. Do you want to put guitar on it? And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So we tracked Light Up the Sky. And then I realized, oh shit, who in the hell is going to sing that? Who in the hell is going to sing Light Up the Sky? So then I'm trying to figure out who we're going to get to do it. I think I've got it covered. We'll see. But I put in a request to one of my top interviews on my channel, and make sure you got some water handy, bro. Yeah. So where is Ace and the Real Boss? They're watching a family movie right now. When I saw Van Halen continue to open up with the show with "Light Up the Sky," it's a killer tune. It's a killer song. But then you go, who the hell's gonna sing that like David Lee Roth in 1979? Who the hell's gonna pull that off? I can only imagine how different the strip. Yeah, Hangar. It's. Dude, imagine it being the place to be 4 nights a week, packed full of people, vibrant young bands. That's what it used to be. So, see, Chasing Guitars, lead vocalist and I would do warm-ups and warm-downs after the show. We were playing about 22 shows a month up and down East Coast and Midwest. Singer took lessons and taught me. Well, Chasing, you're much better than any of us because we never did any of that stuff. You know how we warmed down? We warmed down with booze and smokes and an after party. That's how people wound down. Here's one thing I did learn. Our singer would, before the gig, sometimes would, you see singers doing that stuff. So sometimes he would do that stuff. He would be off in a corner doing that, or he'd be going, me, 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 doing that stuff or whatever. I took vocal lessons as a kid. So I spent about 2 years standing in a corner, for 2 years. I think towards the end of my second year, she started pulling out a song. And then by that time I was off to college and that was it. So I sang major scales for 2 years. Erickson, thank you so much, brother. We're having a good time here. And man, you guys are bringing me back. Every time try to pull away, I'm you guys keep pulling me back in, man. So same kind of thing happens to a ground zero of every music scene. What goes up must eventually come down. Exactly. The business killed it off. The city killed off the party. And we tried to keep it going. Yeah, do re mi fa sol la ti do do. Run into that Doug Marks guy metal method guy. I never did, Steve. I never did see Doug Marks. So 80s and 90s touring, dude. Hey, here's what hit me though, and that's a great point about warming up and warming down and all that. Because a lot of guys back then, especially once Guns N' Roses hit, were doing the screech vocals. Like Odin was doing screech vocals, right? Those high falsetto, yeah, that kind of stuff, right? But a lot of those guys, you discover you can sing like that after you've had a couple shots of whiskey. I used to be able to sing AC/DC if I was about 4 shots of whiskey in. I could hit those screech. I could get that rasp on my falsetto and sing that. And a lot of guys were just doing it, right? And then they party and they have a lifestyle and all that. And I can name some fairly big names and some gigantic names that are out there now playing stadiums. And it's gone. The rasp is all gone. All that's left is just, it scorches your vocals, man. So really, all of those guys should have been able to, all of those guys should have been doing all that warm up stuff and warm down. But I don't know if those screech vocals are good for anybody's voice. Rob is asking, did you ever run into Soundgarden? What did the 80s guys think of Chris Cornell? I didn't run into Soundgarden, but I did run into Mike Starr from Alice in Chains, right? And I went to FM station one night, and it was there with the last singer we had for Boy Elroy, and he was a younger guy, so he knew who all the grunge guys were. He was kind of like the guy going, hey, well, we need to do this because, this kid was like 19. We had a 19-year-old singer. I was probably 24, 25 at the time. And we were at FM station, and he's like, dude, that's Mike Starr. I'm like, who's Mike Starr? Alice in Chains, dude. That's the bass player for Alice in Chains. I go, it is? He goes, well, they just fired him. I'm like, oh, okay. So he goes, come over here, dude. I'll introduce you to him. So I go over there, and he goes to shake my hand. He goes, hi, I'm Mike Starr. Buy me a beer. And I'm like, I'm like, and at that point in time, I was working. I had my day gig working the hotel in West Hollywood, so I could buy whatever beer I wanted, right? And I just told him, F you, but Brian, our singer, kind of smoothed it over because, and I told him, I said, dude, I'll buy the guy a beer, but don't be friggin' like, hi, I'm so-and-so, buy me, telling me what to do. But we ended up hanging out with him for a little while, and he was cool and all that. And if any of you guys are members of the channel, there's a story on my channel about the supermodel and No More Tears. I think the episode is called No More Tears. But the guy who ended up being the replacement for Mike Starr in Alice in Chains ended up, let's say this. You often would say in LA, you weren't married to the girls. The girls weren't yours. It was just your turn. So my girlfriend ends up with Mike Inez, and boom, he's in Alice in Chains, and yeah, yada yada yada. So it's a small world. The grunge look, I mean, and he was a hair metal dude. There really wasn't the only difference in Alice in Chains and a glam metal band is one was happy, the other was gloom and doom, and the way you dress. Otherwise, it's still the same kind of guitar work. It's the same. It's the same shit, dude. It's the same shit. All right, we got Ace clamoring at the door. I don't know why they've got him. He wants to come in. Maybe Ace will want to join us. Gloomy glam metal. Hey, now you got something. What if you dress like Poison, but you were gloomy? You'd essentially be Alice in Chains. Look at later period Poison and the way they dressed. Look at early Alice in Chains. It's not that different. Now, Alice in Chains wrote better songs. Alice in Chains had a better singer. Maybe that's why they did so well. I never thought Poison was good. I never liked Poison. So yeah, if you gave me a choice of listening to the two bands, I would say Alice in Chains, 110%. Come here, Ace. Come here. We got the Ace-inator. This is who everybody wants to see. The Acer. The Acer, bro. Is this what you guys wanted? This is the Ace-inator, bro. Hey, Ace does need a t-shirt. I'm gonna work on that, Dave. I gotta take some more photos of Ace, and we'll get the Ace t-shirt, bro. This is the dude, the Ace-inator. The Ace of Spades. All right, we're gonna put him down. Close the door. He's scratching at the door. Yeah, Kim Thale from Soundgarden said GNR opened the floodgates. Yeah, GNR was the gateway to grunge. Absolutely. It absolutely was the gateway to grunge. And look, once Guns N' Roses came out with their, and look at early Guns N' Roses footage. Axl had his hair teased out and he's got lipstick on. Here's the deal. They were just dirtier and scummier than a lot of the bands. Look, there were a lot of bands like that were dirty, scummy, doing really hard DRUG, you know what's. And Guns N' Roses weren't the only ones like that, but they got with the right label at the right time with the right album and hit when people were looking for something more real, right? We've got 102 people in here. That is frigging awesome, but let's get the thumbs up. Look, I saw another YouTuber who has probably about 3 times as many subscribers as I have the other day. And I watched the early part of his stream and I didn't see anywhere near as many people on the channel. So Scott, thank you for being here. Everybody smash the like button. Let's get the like buttons close to the amount of people that we have in here. If everybody hits that thumbs up, that'll really be something, because here's the deal. I want to get a breakthrough on this channel. This is unique. Here's the deal, man. This channel is real, right? Like and subscribe, yes. Everybody, that helps the channel out immensely. Super Strike is saying, I dig the illusions, but agree that one album would have been better. Appreciate the boldness to release 2 single albums at once. I think if maybe they had given Adler time to heal up and try to get him sober enough to do another album. If they had gotten Mike Klink and recorded the second album, here's what they should have done with a band like Guns N' Roses. They should have recorded the first and second albums all in the same session. But let's face it, man, Guns N' Roses was a huge risk for Geffen Records. and they pumped a lot of money into that band, right? So, but in hindsight, if they had recorded both albums, here's what they do, because they held "Don't Cry" back for the second album. They kept that song back, knowing that, hey, this is a powerful song, and we'll keep that for the second album. But if they had taken "Don't Cry" and maybe some of the, maybe a couple covers, and then "You Could Be Mine," if they had that riff, if they'd had the best songs from Use Your Illusion and put out a second album with a similar sound, the same vibe, then they would be a 2-album band. I don't, for me, and I know people like Use Your Illusion, but for me, it's Appetite for Destruction, and that's all I really want to hear from Guns N' Roses. And look, Use Your Illusion may be a better sounding record. It's probably got better drumming, but it doesn't hit me the same way. So that's the deal, man. That's the deal. I like the musicianship on Chinese. Well, the musicianship on Chinese Democracy may be better, but I don't think the songs or vibe are, and that's why nobody relates to it. It's all about the songs and the vibe. You listen to, look, Appetite for Destruction and Van Halen 1, those are the kind of records that you could put on a Friday night, crank it, dude. Get in your iRock Z, get in your Mustang 5.0, get in your Z28, and put those albums in the cassette deck, and it's dark out and you're with a couple buddies and you're going to go down to the local watering hole or you're going to go to a concert or whatever. Those records will get you there fired up, dude. Fired up. Those 2 albums are what we would listen to going drive down the strip. In 1990, in 1991, in 1992, when we'd be driving down to the strip, we'd be cranking Van Halen 1. Mia, you want to say hi? Oh my God! Look, dude, pizza party, dude. Welcome to the pizza party.
I want to see Peppa.
Oh, hold on.
Peppa.
This
Okay,
is gonna be
look
hard.
at this, dude.
I want Peppa.
Dude, it's a pizza party.
See the Peppa.
I don't want
It's a pizza party, dude.
With Peppa.
It's very hot, but we made our own fresh
They
pizza.
made a fresh pizza, dude. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little pizza on our time, bro. There's nothing wrong with a little pizza
Mia,
on
tell
our
them.
time.
Mia, tell them how you did it.
We gotta study Cuba, bro.
I want to tell them how I make this pizza.
Okay, tell them how you made
Don't
the
touch
pizza.
the thing though.
Okay, so first we just started off on a big pile of dough.
A big
Yeah.
pile of dough,
And
okay?
then what happened next?
We rolled it up,
Roll the dough.
Yep. And then what did you do?
and then we put pizza sauce,
Then you put the sauce on it.
And then what else did we put on?
and then we put the cheese,
What
Then you
kind
put the
of cheese?
mozzarella, and then we did shredded cheese, and then we did shredded cheese, and then we put the pepperoni.
The pepperoni.
Pepperoni. Pizza.
It looks pretty good, man.
Uh-huh.
You guys are
And then
tempting
we
me.
put it in the oven.
Okay, well, y'all keep that warm
And
for
then
me.
it's all done.
Okay, y'all keep that warm for me. I'll see y'all trick asses
And
later.
Peppa Pig.
All right, go on, Peppa.
We'll see how good it is.
All right, go on. Y'all go eat some. All right, Ace, out. Out, amigo. All right. So you see what, dude, we're having a pizza party, bro. We're having a pizza party, bro. Yeah, guitar. Hey, man, Slash sounds good on all of that stuff, dude. Slash is the secret sauce. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Slash is the secret sauce for Guns N' Roses. And the musicianship on Chinese Democracy might be better, but Without Slash, dude, it's the 50. You gotta have Slash. You gotta have Duff. I like who's the guitar player they have now? That looked kind of like Izzy. Who is that guy? He's great. I can't think. Let me know in the comments who's the second guitar player in Guns N' Roses. What's the guy's name? I can't remember it right now. Not Gilby. Fortis. Yeah, Richard Fortis. Great guitar player. Amazing guitar player, Richard Fortis. He's a bad dude. He is a bad dude. And sorry, I can't remember the name, but I'm old. Axl's baritone voice that he almost never uses. Yeah, his natural voice is great. John Billings, she's asking, is John Billings looking at the screen? Well, is John Billings still here? Is he still here? John Billings, are you still here, dude? Are you here, bro? Are you, dude? This is what would be at. Knock on his door. Dude. Giacomo Tura is the new lead guitarist for Guns N' Roses, bro. Is the new guitarist for Guns N' Roses. Bumblefoot, dude. Bumblefoot is amazing. And look, you know who else did a good job in the revamped Guns N' Roses before Slash got back? DJ Ashba. They made him wear some kind of, oh, there's John Billings. So Holly is trying to send you a message, bro. She's trying to send you a message, man. Can be a great musician, but still be the wrong one for a given project. Exactly. Yeah. There he is, dude. So, yeah. John Billings, are you snubbing me live? She's asked. No, he's not snubbing you. He's probably, knowing John, he's probably multitasking right now. He's probably multitasking. I wish there was a way that I could instantly, I wonder if I touch somebody's name, can they go live? If I touch John Billings, no, it doesn't. See, that's what you should be able to do, is I hit somebody's name and instantly what's this little flag thing here? Wonder what that does. If I touch something and the feed goes off, I wonder what there's a little like flag thing. What is that? Chat viewing options. Okay, I don't need that. Okay, that didn't help. Let's see, there's a little thing here. I wonder if someone could go live with me, dude. I don't think there is. I don't think there's a way to do that. I'm just gonna push buttons, bro. Hey, wait a minute. This button says do not push. Should I push it? Angry Shoebox is asking, did I listen to WGH and WNOR FM growing up? Yeah, those are the Virginia channels. And if I remember correctly, WGH was Richmond and WNOR was Newport News or Norfolk. Yeah, I don't know if I can. It's too bad that I can't just invite people to go live. That would be awesome. Because here's the deal. I can invite people, and we've done that before. We tried it with Randy O. And it's like a split screen or whatever, but I don't know, man. You should be able to just, here's a cool person, and well, StreamYard would let you do that. I think so. So make a powerful. Esteban taught Steve Morse how to play. He did. Actually, Esteban taught Hendrix, bro. Yeah, WGH. So WGH had a guy named Arlo, right? Arlo he had like a mustache. So if you listen to Arlo, Arlo had this like a Raleigh Fingers style mustache. Well, he was down at this club that I was playing at near the beach. And he used to come down there all the time for a live broadcasts from Old Sullivan's Wharf, right? And he would come down there, and I don't know, but he'd be in the back with the old band guys, getting a little wake up call. Hello, hello. I feel very awake all of a sudden. Hello. There is a free version, Robert, and I'm not too cheap to purchase it. But here's the deal, man. I like going live with my phone. The webcam that I have on my computer, the picture's not as good. This is a good picture. What does he say? Dude, all those guitars and not one riff. Dude, I played a riff on the bass, bro. I don't even have a guitar plugged in right now. Right? Something like that. This camera makes the wig pop. That's the deal. As long as my wig looks good, and I think the wig is rocking tonight. It's rocking like docking. Yeah. So yeah, this is the iPhone, bro. Now here's the deal. What I would like to do is you can get mixers. Run that into here. I could, or do it some kind. I'd like to do some kind of setup eventually where I've got a mixer, where I could have audio stuff play. I would love to be able to, all of a sudden play a video in the middle of this. Literally, like produce a live show on YouTube. But for now, Backstage with Bad Brat is just like this. People love coming on here, leaving comments, asking questions. Brad, have you ever ran across David T. Chastain? He was local but played everywhere and was really popular overseas. Well, I didn't know Chastain, but I believe John Billings played a gig or a video with Chastain. So he would be able to tell you more about Dave Chastain. Here's the deal, man. Most guitar players would play with a pick, and I do that sometimes. But having John Billings as a roommate and watching him play bass, you have to just sit around and go. You gotta sit there and practice. So I used to practice bass. Yeah, Billings knows Dave Chastain. He played with Dave. There's a clip. If you watch the video of John Billings on YouTube, on my channel, it's an interview. I think there might even be a clip from that video of him playing with Chastain and all of those guys. Mark, what was the guy with the two guitars like this? Michelangelo, Badio, or whatever. All of those guys. So, yeah, man, dude, imagine learning those tunes. People complain about learning 40 pop songs, but most of them are just, right? Most of them are 4 chords, but imagine having to learn 30 songs from dudes going with synced up licks. Having to learn all this stuff. Fast and Furious. Imagine having to learn all of that stuff. He had to literally, and he had to practice it on lunch breaks. Sit there in the back with the metronome and play that stuff. Yeah, that's way harder than doing a top 40 gig where you got to play whatever, shred a little fast. If you could play it a little faster, please. I just had somebody in one of the comments say he watched one of my intros on one of my videos, and he watched it at 1.2 speed. He's like, dude, it was amazing. I said, well, I guess I'll just have to start speeding the tempos up on my backing track. I'll just have to, every backing track I play, maybe that's the key. Maybe I need to just, and so I guess you have to play faster, right? If you're trying to play up to tempo. Let's practice our arpeggios. So we're gonna play a C minor. Right, we'll play that. Then we'll play D minor. You just don't want me playing bass. I really don't recommend it. So we are at 60 minutes. It's been an amazing Saturday night with just a little bit of overtime. I think we're going to wrap it up tonight. I want to thank everybody, the super chats, for making it an excellent Saturday night. And you can connect your phone to your computer as a webcam. That is true, Jay. That is true. And I have messed with that a little bit with Zoom. But yeah, thank you everybody for an amazing evening. Thank you. Interview tomorrow, yes. I'm going to air the Alan Niven interview, the manager of Guns N' Roses. That's going to go up live tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. Amazing interview, dude. A rock and roll warrior. It's going to be amazing. Hank, thank you so much, brother. That helps. Every little bit helps. Yes. So tomorrow morning, Alan Niven. I'm gonna go have some of that pizza in the other room, right? And then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna schedule the Alan Niven interview. In fact, maybe I'll go schedule that now. Everybody hit the notification bell. Make sure to check out the interview with Alan Niven tomorrow. It's friggin' epic. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm out, bro. I'm out. Everybody have an amazing evening, dude. Have a most righteous